Operant behavior will extinguish, in other words, die out, decrease, finish off without reinforcement. Reinforcement is the key to operant conditioning. If we don't reinforce, the behavior will die. Reinforcements can happen in two ways: positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is presenting a reinforcing stimulus, something that a student likes, something that a student wants, something that the student sees as good. Praise, clapping, letter sent home, getting a chocolate or a toffee or something. These are positive reinforcements. This is what the student likes, this is what the student wants, and therefore you give it. The reinforcement is positive and good behavior will continue. So when students are behaving appropriately in our classrooms, it is not time to ignore the appropriate behavior. If we want the students to continue behaving appropriately in our classrooms, we will have to reinforce that appropriate behavior. Could be done individually for students, could be done for the whole class, if truly the whole class is behaving appropriately. Otherwise, direct it to individual students, and the rest will learn that the teacher's attention is got when I behave, because when XYZ behaves, the teacher recognizes them. And so it will be learned that if I want the teacher's attention, if I want the teacher to say something good to me, I will also have to behave appropriately. Negative reinforcement, on the other hand, can happen in two ways. It's removing or withdrawing a stimulus or a reinforcer, but it is not punishment. Punishment is something else. Negative reinforcement is removing something that the student doesn't like. For example, I tell a student, tomorrow if you come without your homework done again, you will have to spend recess with me. Now, which students honestly would like to spend recess with a teacher? They would rather be out on the grounds with their friends, eating and playing and having a good time. Now, the student goes home, realizes I was serious, does his work, comes the next day with the work done. Should I keep him in recess? No, I should not. So what I'm doing is, some negative thing, something that the student didn't like, I was going to give, but now I withdraw it. I don't keep the student in recess with me because he did his work. That is negative reinforcement. I have taken away, I have removed a negative stimulus that the student did not like. But I've done it because the student did what he was supposed to do. You don't remove negative and aversive stimuli simply because you feel sorry for the student. Education and learning is not about feeling sorry for the student. If we want individuals to learn appropriate behaviors, we will have to be strong as teachers and say, this is not right. This is not acceptable. This is not what works in my classroom. And therefore, you will suffer a consequence. But when students are doing the right things, reward them or take away a negative thing that the student would not like. Because if the student had done the work and I had still kept him in at recess, what would the student have learned? He would have learned not to trust the teacher. He would have learned that I did my work, but the teacher still punished me. He would have looked at this as a punishment. Because he did his work, I let him off. I removed the aversive stimulus, the negativity from the student's life situation, and allowed him to go and spend recess with his friends and his class fellows. So positive reinforcement works in making a good behavior continue. Negative reinforcement works in diminishing inappropriate behavior. Both types of reinforcements should be used equally.